voice or name to you. If you are a regular listener of radio in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and also you watch our TV, certainly you will know this guest. Don't move a muscle. Stay with me, and we will continue. Welcome back, and in case you just joined, this is Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. We are gonna be starting our conversation right away, and we're being joined by a guest on the show this beautiful Saturday morning. Good morning, Mr. Jide Ojo.
Good morning, how are you doing, man? It's a pleasure to be on your show this morning.
All right, thank you for availing us your time this morning. All right, listener, that is Jide Ojo, who together we will be looking at some of these headlines I highlighted earlier on. And Jide Ojo is a public affairs analyst who has traveled far and wide. So let's hit the ground running with this issue, a subsidy, fuel subsidy, Mr. Jide Ojo. What would you say? A comprehensive recap on fuel subsidy, and also the NLC saying they want to embark on a nationwide strike, boycotting one of the meeting with the federal government team. And after some time, late on Tuesday, we had an information that they have shelved their plans to embark on strike. So let's hear your take on this particular issue.
Okay, so the nagging issue of subsidy has been on for quite some time.
Yeah.
It has lasted over 30 years, since 1991. There are total of 33 years of subsidy of PMS, that's premium motor spirits. Successive administration have found it inconvenient to cut the tie. So over time, we have had as gradual removal of subsidy. We are told at some point the administration of Buhari told us in 2016-2017 that they have totally withdrawn from subsidy. But only to learn later that NNPC claimed to have paid under recovery, which is an euphemism for subsidy, even though there was no project-free allocation. Long story short, we were also told that once the Petroleum Industry Act comes into operations, we were going to wave bye to subsidy. And that happened in August of 2021. Unfortunately, political consideration, 2023 election beclouded our sense of reasoning. And instead of President Buhari to lock the tap of subsidy, he decided to extend subsidy by 18 months, which eventually terminated in June 2023. So that in brief is the history. But you ask yourself, why subsidy? We have 4 refineries that were not working and over 25 billion, according to the Guardian news report.
Yeah.
$25 billion have been spent on turnaround maintenance of these drain pipes called refineries. And as we speak, additional sum of 1.5 billion was 1.5 billion loan was sought from abroad to fix the Port Harcourt refinery. Unfortunately, 2-3 deadlines have not been met. The claim is going to be working by December 2022. That didn't manifest. They said it's first quarter of 2023. That has also come and gone without anything to show. And they said second quarter is ending by the end of this month. What Billy Kerry is telling us is that that will happen in 2023 December. However, one thing I want to call the attention of our listeners to is the fact that why the federal government of Nigeria has spent over $25 billion on turnaround maintenance without anything to show for it. No one has been sacked. No one has been punished for this graft. But Dangote that built a refinery from the scratch just around 2017 has built the world's largest refinery with $18.5 billion.
And the capacity of that refinery is even more than combined capacity of the 4 refineries we have.
Of the 4 that we have been spending billions of dollars on without anything to say. Yeah. So you find out that in 2007, Obasanjo saw what we didn't see and decided to sell off these 4 refineries. But the labor unions mounted pressure on the administration of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and they got him to rescind and revoke that sale. So since that time, more money has been spent on turnaround maintenance of these 4 refineries without any success. So long story short, if somebody who in 5 years ago who spent, well, what we are told by Emefiele was that the refineries was initially supposed to cost about $9 billion, but ended up costing $18.5 billion.
Yeah.
But the one that were built in the 60s that we have been trying to revive, we have spent over $25 billion on them without anything to show. You had the new president, Tinubu, that Nigeria was doing Father Christmas for neighboring countries for over 30 years. Subsidizing for Cameroon, for Niger, for Chad, for the Republic. And that every day is not supposed to be Christmas. And that's actually why, that resources. Imagine, my brother, this year alone, we are talking of 3.36 trillion for five months of 2023. Purportedly spent on subsidy regime. 3.36 trillion. So these kind of resources, if we spend it expanding our infrastructure, innovating our schools, our hospitals, building new roads, maintaining old ones, are we not going to be better off than to spend it on this cesspool of corruption called subsidy? So, long story short, I think there is now unanimity that subsidy does have to go this time around.
All right, I want to ask you this. Sorry to interject, Mr. Jide. This issue of subsidy, because you said the provision was for 6 months. That is what we Nigerians were meant to understand. 3.36 trillion naira for first half of the year. But unfortunately, before the end of June, that is beginning of June, subsidy has been removed, and the sudden increase in pump price. Mele Kolokyari was asked, if the question is that Since we all Nigerians believe that provisions have been made for first half, that is from January to end of June, why would the pump price just increase even before that time? And he was saying that the government did not give cash back in. They only made budgetary allocation for the 6 month, but there was no cash back in. In fact, what they even got from the government is not direct, it's just the royalty and taxes they were supposed to pay the government. They now use it in place of subsidy, and as we speak, he's claimed that there is still a deficit of 2.8 trillion naira due to the NNPCL. So what would you say in all of this?
Again, that's lack of transparency in government, which is why many Nigerians have doubted the integrity and sincerity of our government. Because if you said there was a budgetary allocation of 3.36 trillion, now we are hearing you go to that there was no cash backing. They are using revenue, royalty, and all of that. Well, whatever it is, bye-bye to Jackie. Let's cut our loss right now. And I really don't see why. I actually wrote against the spending of additional billions of dollars for turnaround maintenance of this refinery, the alien refinery, because I feel that it's either we sell it off as scrap, or just abandon them to rot. Because of what essence is even an attempt to revitalize these drain pipes? We know that if the cartel have their way, they want to undermine the continued, they will want to undermine the renovation efforts of those refineries.
Yeah.
But the other major concern I have is even that if we allow this to stay, how about what do we do with the savings? The trillions that will be saved from being used into funding the subsidy. And are we going to have another SHOP, another PTF, or another interventionist agency that will be able to judiciously make use of whatever is saved to expand the infrastructure and all of that? That's one. Two, I'm also against the $800 million we secured and flow from World Bank that was going to be given to 16 million Nigerians in cash as cash
conditional cash transfer.
I feel that will create inflation and will not be impactful. Ali, just imagine if we have $1 million given to each local government, and let there be made assessment what each local government needs. Is it renovation of their schools? Is it the renovation of their primary health centers? Is it refurbishment of the road network within the local government? They can decide.
Yeah.
That would
according to their need
in that local government than just handing cash to spurious number of people. I recall during the COVID-19 where the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs was giving cash to purported beneficiaries when they could have been encouraged to open a bank account which would be trackable and traceable. But so we need accountability and transparency in the way we deal with the savings from this fuel subsidy that's number one. Number two is also for us to look possibly at what happens to the operating license that have been issued to many. As at time uh, federal government issued refining license. There were about 18 that were issued those licenses to. Only 2 or 3 of them decided to build the refinery. That is Dangote and Boa.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of others who went into modular refinery. Now, what about others? Does this license have a lifespan? If it does have a lifespan, can we have, because now with the removal of subsidy, there will be more interested players in the downstream sector.
Certainly.
Because they will now see the benefit of participation. They will be able to bring their foreign direct investment. They will be able to build additional refineries. So I am thinking what the president should do is to auction off the early refineries, even when they are refurbished. Let's sell them off. Let private enterprise take over them, and let them be the one to maintain them if they find it experience to do so. And then allow the private sector players, in which case I am very sure in the next 2, 3, 5 years, I tell you, we may even be buying petroleum products lower than what we are buying it right now, because the competition will drive down the price. And the moment we are no longer importing from US, from Europe and America, we will be able to save foreign exchange. There won't be as much pressure on our foreign exchange. And that brings me to another issue. Why do we want to be using dollars to sell to Dangote, and then he will be doing his pricing also in dollars?
Is it because of petrodollar?
I don't understand. I think that is part of what, if Russia can do their own denomination in ruble, and people are still buying from them, we can do that to strengthen our naira.
Yeah,
so that it's not just all about getting more foreign exchange. The moment you are no longer importing, everything is done within the export-free processing. So I think we can do our transactions between those local refineries in naira, and then let them also sell to us in naira, so that the currency will be further strengthened, rather than continue to do petrodollar.
All right, in all of this now, let's switch to the role played by NLC and also the TUC. Initially, there was they were mulling to embark on a nationwide strike, but after having some consideration, after some meeting, especially the TUC, because at some point the NLC boycotted one of the meetings with the federal government team. What I want us to look at, because of time factor, is some of the demands made by the NLC and TUC, of which we want to focus on the issue of minimum wage. 200,000 naira demand by NLC as minimum wage. Is that realistic? Will the government be able to pay 200,000 naira as minimum wage from 30,000?
I'm not sure. You know, there is principle of collective bargaining in labor balance. So what the labor has tried to do is to put eye up there. But I'm sure when negotiations commence in earnest, the minimum wage may just move marginally from maybe 30 to 40 or 50,000 max. Because no government will go from 30,000 to 200,000. That will create inflation, and then you have to look at sustainability. And it's not only government workers and private sector workers that the minimum wage law. How many micro, small, and medium enterprises are paying the minimum wage? Because we need to look at what will not cause us inflation. So the labor unions may ask for arm and leg. It is for government and then to dialogue and come to a reasonable conclusion. What the government says not to be opposed to is to allow for wage increase. But wage increase in isolation of every other thing that can impact positively on the life of every citizen will not do the magic. So what we have had many done, some a couple of state governments have decided to reduce the number of working days from 5 to 3. We have had some private sector organizations reducing the physical presence of their staff in their offices and asking them to work remotely, virtually. Some have even reduced the working hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. rather than for them to work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And also incentivizing them with transport subsidy. So things are happening, but the most important thing is that we need to look at the big picture. And the big picture is how do we salvage the economy? Because the economy of Nigeria is in very bad shape, very, very bad shape. So while first I must commend the Nigerian labor unions for shelving this strike, because that could have caused further dislocation and negative impact on the economy. Just imagine a situation where electricity workers down to aviation workers down to, and the entire country is on its knees. The impact of that will worsen the already bad state of the economy. And then the government did well by approaching the National Industrial Court to get an ex-party order to prevent labor unions. Because at the end of the day, whether you even go on strike, it's still dialogue that you use to resolve issues.
Yeah.
I also went on strike for 8 months. It still ended up at the dialogue table.
Yeah.
So why don't put those time-wasting measures and let's face negotiation properly? And the federal government, particularly the president, you can see how the president even personally met with Joesu, Joint Health Workers Union, and got them to suspend their strike.
Yeah.
And President Tinubu is not advanced to meeting the labor leaders even directly, which is to show commitment that the government meant well and that everybody must make efforts and make sacrifice to ensure that we salvage the situation.
So, talking about negotiations, I want us to briefly look at the tussle, talking about the 10th Assembly, the position of the Senate President that is keenly contested after the APC agreed on a particular zoning formula, especially the President saying, let's Godswill Akpabio from South be his candidate as the Senate President, but we can see other candidates, especially former Zamfara State Governor Abdulaziz Yari, and also former Abia State Governor Ojuzo Kalu, saying no, they cannot back down. They are not going anywhere. They want to contest for that position. So, in all of this, what would you say concerning the tussle that is ongoing?
Well, whatever is going on in terms of leadership tussle at the 10th National Assembly is normal politicking that takes place every 4 years. Because I recall that in 2015 we had similar scenarios. Even 2019. Recall that former governor of the Gombe State, Danjuma Goji,
yes,
also behaved like Abdulaziz Yari. Thinking was going to contest, but at the end of the day, there was a backroom negotiation to get him to back down, and there was a trade-off. Of course, we all know that all the corruption allegations against him by the EFCC were withdrawn, and he's been a free man since then. So Yari also could be angling for that kind of treatment. to get some soft landing. I'm not saying that is exactly the situation, but people contest for different reasons. They want recognition, they want to be a force to reckon with, or they want something else that may not even be that position. Otherwise, look at the number of people who always contest for political office. You wonder whether somebody could not win his council, his local government, wanting to be governor. What is he looking for? He's looking for relevance. He's looking for relevance.
But this time around, Mr. Jide, this time around, some are even saying, as things stand now, Abdulaziz Yari is kind of having an upper hand over Gospel Akpabio.
That's not true. That is not true. He could not and he will not have an upper hand. After I have followed this very closely.
Okay.
In truth, let's be sincere with ourselves. Yari, with all due respect, actually takes to be president of the Senate. But we need to be mindful of our religious diversity. You cannot have number 1, number 2, number 3 citizen being Muslim, number 4 Muslim, number 5 Muslim. Because that's what it means. If Yari becomes the next president of the Senate, we already have Tinubu Muslim, we have Fatima Muslim, we have, if you now have Yari Muslim, then you will now have Abbas,
Abbas, the reps.
Then you have the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Muslim. And you know what Rufai purportedly said in the course of the week, which has inflamed passion and all of this. So, in Section 14(4) of the Constitution needs to be respected about the secularity and plurality and the need for what's called federal character principle, so that there is no domination. You cannot just say it does not matter. It does not matter. When it is Muslim, it does not matter. When it is a Christian, it matters. No. Whether the people, whether they see their leaders as being pious adherents of their faith, is immaterial. People want to see that Nigerian secularity is respected. And you cannot have number 1 to 5 at the very minimum being Muslim, where in a country that is almost equally divided between the two major religions. So I think it should be suited that it could breed religious intolerance across the country. Part of the reason why APC did not do well in the last election was because of this Muslim ticket.
Yeah, certainly.
And that is also what's affecting the national status of assembly now. You understand?
Yeah.
The Muslim seems to be dominating. The Christian, the other speaker who was not recognized, is a Christian. And you can see those who have trained their weight behind the other candidates.
Honorable Daniel Ogazi.
So you can see, even at that micro level, people want the reflection of their. And that part of the reason why Nasrallah went Labour Party was because of this Muslim ticket. Many minorities, in fact, the reason why Nasarawa, Plateau, FPT, and majorly LP, Labour Party and its candidates has upper hand in Muslim in Christian-dominated area of northern states is because of this Muslim. You remember Peter Obi saying Christians should take back their country, and so those religious sentiments, whether you want to admit or not, I'm not a bigot. It does not matter to me who is the president of the Senate. I won't vote. But I think we should respect the secularity of Nigeria and ensure that balance. After 30 years of Muslim tickets in 1993, this is the first time we have discarded that and are now a Muslim person to the presidency. And you can only balance that equation by ensuring that you do not continue along that trajectory, by ensuring that at least number three position is a Christian, and also somebody from the South or Southeast region. I supported Southeast to get the number three position anyway, but it didn't seem to work that way. So I feel that after the meeting of presidents with the members elect on, was it Thursday or Wednesday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Many of them actually decided that it makes sense, and they have decided that they were going to toe the line of the president. So I don't think Yari presents any threat to Akpabio's ambition. But Tuesday is around the corner. Let's wait and see what eventually happens.
All right, I know time is not on our side, but finally, before I let you go, please permit me to just bring this issue briefly, because this is what is trendy when it comes to information currently. Late last night, we had a release from the office of the SGF saying the CBN governor, in person of Emefiele, has been suspended with immediate effect, and that Deputy Governor Operations Directorate should take over leadership of the bank. Talking about Fola Shodun Adebisi Shunobi. What is your take concerning Emefiele suspension?
Well, I think Emefiele has said is welcome. And if I were him, I should have even thrown the towel immediately before the inauguration. Maybe resign or whatever. But he decided to stay it through. Eventually, really didn't do well. Particularly in the way he politicized that office of governor of Central Bank.
Okay.
How could you, as a sitting governor of Central Bank, went and obtained form to contest for the president of Nigeria and went to court that the court should declare that you should be allowed to retain your position while also pursuing to be number one citizen of Nigeria. That's one. As if that was not involved, as if that was not enough. We all saw the footages of vehicles, already branded vehicles for campaign.
Yeah.
Hundreds of them.
Yes.
So apart from that, you now saw an Emefiele that either initiated or went in cahoots with the former president to inflict on Nigeria what is called Naira recoloration in some quarters, or what we now say Naira redesign. Because for many Nigerians, it's just recoloration, it's not really redesigning anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you would be fair to some of us who have our doubts, how come after the March decision of Supreme Court, it is now very scarce to see the newly redesigned note? This is good. It's supposed to incrementally be in circulation.
Yes.
But nobody is seeing the new Naira note. It's as if, and you need to understand, why was that the designing of Naira note introduced on the eve of an election? That is part of the major undoing that made APC to lose in many states, particularly in FCT. You recall that people cannot even have 100 Naira cash on them, and POS operators went gaga. For you to collect 10,000 Naira, you pay 4,000 or 10,000, and all of those shenanigans. At the end of the day, it stands to reason that the designer note policy was politically motivated, and every finger was pointing in the direction of a Emefiele. Of course, you said you don't want vote buying, but vote buying still took place despite the redesign of the Naira note. And if you want to redesign Naira note, it's not like, God saved Buhari for not going ahead with the population census, because it will have been very disastrous if he has gone ahead, given the mood of the nation, how You know how many millions of micro, small, and medium enterprises folded within the period of
Cash crunch.
October to March, April cash crunch. So many really, openly people are causing a feeling that he inflicted so much pain on them and made life so miserable, and that so when you look at all of this, if I were initially, even before inauguration, I would just have quietly resigned because definitely this man, you targeted him on this issue of Naira redesign. I started to hide his spirit. He said the Naira redesign was targeted against him emerging victorious in the election, and that the fuel scarcity that also happened on the eve of the election was also targeted at him. So he knew, and he has his own privileged information. So it didn't really come as a surprise that this suspension or that. And this suspension is just because he doesn't have the power to sack him. But we know that he's just been given Sanusi treatment. And what goes round comes round. Remember, when Sanusi also was going to be dealt with, that was how they just suspended him. And he never came back to CBN. So I hope it's a lesson for whoever will take charge, whether this woman gets confirmed. And if this woman gets confirmed, that will mean the first female central bank governor of Nigeria. That's if she gets confirmed. And Ashwaju is looking, that means Ashwaju is possibly gradually empowering women. You remember that, if I go, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think a female accountant general has been approved.
Yes.
Then we have
correct.
Then we have a female head of Nigeria Immigration Service.
Yeah.
Now we have a female acting central bank governor. In 2 weeks, I think Nigerian women should start applauding Ashwaju that this man hopefully will give more than 35% to Nigerian women. Because if you have first female accountant general, first female acting Controller General of Nigeria Immigration Service, and now first female central bank governor, no. It seems Ashwaju he has something on his sleeve and is quietly just bringing out the joker. But I think many Nigerians will not need initially for politicizing that position of central bank governor. He did so many things wrong, even though he also did many things right. But I think delving into politics and on many of the unfortunate, even the anchor borrowers program that was financed by central bank is enmeshed in controversy, and over $1 trillion has allegedly been disbursed to many farmers, and many of them are not paying back. So quite a lot of controversy surrounding initially central bank governor. But I think on reflection, he will know whether he did his best or whether he actually abused his office.
All right, as we coast home, before I ask you my final question, Mr. Jide, let me open the phone line so that even if you are off the show, we will continue to interact with our listeners. If you are listening to us and you want to contribute on this show, you can call the studio lines 0700 010 961 961. I think that again, 0700 010961961. You can either call through normal call, or you can call via the WhatsApp. You can also drop your WhatsApp message through that number. So far so good. Mr. Jide, before I let you go, the issue of police pension, police taking police off the contributory pension scheme, and also the passage of the bill that approve or legalize the establishment of police training school and colleges. What's your take on that particular issue? Because it's one that is really making rounds in Nigeria.
I think it's a welcome development. Anything that will make the Nigerian police to be efficient, to be effective, and to be more professional. In as far as Nigerian military have also been moved from the contributory pension, I think what is just for the group is just for the gander. And then, of course, the training. We all know the middle past administration of President Buhari did a lot for Nigerian police. He set up police equipment trust funds. He set up, he did the amendment of the police act, which is the colonial law. And of course, some will give him credit for bringing back Minister of Police Affairs. Although I disagree with that, I think he didn't do well by creating Minister of Police Affairs. You have Police Service Commission there. Why do you need Police Affairs Ministry? But these two bills that you have mentioned is a welcome development. It will make Nigeria police to, in terms of welfare, professionalism, going to enhance their welfare and professionalism. And I think it's a welcome development.
All right, that is where we will let our guests of the band. Jide Ojo has done a lot for us this morning, adding his own opinion, expert opinion on some of the news that you might have missed during the week, and also the latest one on ground, talking about the suspension of CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Thank you very much, Mr. Jide Ojo.
My pleasure.
All right. Abuja, you're listening to 96.1 Voice of the People. Now you have a voice, and we have taken a look at some of the major headlines that made the round during the week, and you've heard it all from our guest, who is a public affairs analyst. Abuja, if you want to contribute, you can do that, because this radio station is yours. That is why it is named Voice of the People. Now you have a voice. So if you want your voice to be heard on this particular issue we have discussed with our guests, you can also lend your own voice via the studio lines 070 00 10 The numbers sound kind of strange to you, but it is correct. That is how the number is: 070 00 10 961. You can either call, that is normal call, or you can call via the WhatsApp, or drop your message on WhatsApp. I'm here waiting to hear from you, because you indeed now have a voice. Don't go anywhere, because we will continue. Okay, I think we have our first caller on the line this morning. Hello, good morning. Thanks for calling. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay. Thank you for calling. Let's hear you. Could you please be more audible?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What is this?
Okay.
How can you meet 400 to follow one time? It is just the suspended. And the also for safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call, even though I barely heard what you actually said there, but thanks for calling. Abuja, you can also get through to the studio just like our last caller from Life Camp actually called in. The number to call 070 00 10 961. Call normal call, or you can call via the WhatsApp or you can as well drop your message. I am here to read the message. Don't hesitate, because this is your radio station, Voice of the People, because now you have a voice. And we are here on the weekly recap of news making round. Just like I said, you can also call and be heard in the studio. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Osaja. Calling from Media.
Okay, thanks for calling. Let's hear you.
Okay, I want to commend the guest there is Jide
All right.
for his analysis. I've been following what he has been saying, and I so much like his contribution as someone who has the idea of building one Nigeria. So I must commend it so much. And you too.
All right, thank
Now,
you.
I want to take my point from our new president, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, particularly the kind of idea of building was involving our women in terms of having them in the cabinet. I want to believe it's going to go a very long way to, reduce the pain of the women in some quarter of claiming concerning their inclusion in terms of how politics and the affairs of government is being run. And I am looking forward that they have this appointment. Nigerians are looking to see how they deliver, because at this point in time, what we need from them is to make sure that
Could you move away from your radio set a bit? There is interference. Your radio set.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, better now. Thank you.
It's okay. So what I'm trying to say in conclusion is that there should be up and down. Okay?
Yeah.
So that we'll have a better Nigerian for all of us. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Wonderful thoughts there from our caller. All right, Abuja, you can as well be heard. Calls are coming in this morning. I think I should give the phone lines again so that in case you were unable to get the number when I called it earlier on, you can now have it, because you indeed now have a voice. 070 0010961 I think I should take that again slowly this time around, so that everyone listening to me can actually get the number and get through to the studio. 070 0010961 That is the number you can get through to the studio. Either you call me normal call, or you can call via the WhatsApp handle, and you can as well drop your message on the WhatsApp portal. I will read them out for you. 96.1 Voice of the People, Abuja, VOP. We are here. We are new in town, but we're not new in the business.
That your voice can change the narrative. Your voice matters. Lend your voice today. Become a part of our family on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Now you have a voice. Have you ever wondered if your opinion matters? Do you know that your voice can change the narrative? Your voice matters. Lend your voice today. Become a part of our family on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Now you have a voice. Matters. Lend your voice today. Become a part of our family on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Now you have a voice. Have you ever wondered if your opinion matters? Do you know that your voice can change the narrative? Your voice matters. Lend your voice today. Become a part of our family on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Voice of the People.
Ojuzo Kalu said no. We also want to be the Senate president. So we just wait and see how it unfolds going forward. And also another topic we looked at was the police pension and training school bill passage by the National Assembly, talking about the 9th Assembly. And also the latest information making round about the suspension of the CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, by the president. Last night we got that particular information, so we were able to cover some of these, and the reason or the rationale behind us bringing this recap for you this morning is probably during the week you were engaged and unable to get the full details of some of these headlines. You may have heard them passively, but today we are bringing them in details for you, and also with the help of a professional analyst who will also lend his own voice. And Abuja, I'm saying you can also lend your voice because this is your radio station, and time for this program is fast approaching. We would love to play some music just to keep body and soul together, to downs the pressure. We've talked politics and governance, so security also, because we talked about police, and we will call it a wrap here. And when we come back after the stop of the hour, we will be playing beautiful music, and gradually we will coast home. Abuja, don't change your dial, because this is Voice of the People 96.1. My name is Adito. Now continue to be